ya, how they rule ya, how they rule ya, how they rule.
Little piece of news that you might think doesn't really mean anything. It shows how strong Trump is and how dedicated his family is to him. Well, we learned that the district attorney for New York City says that she's going to look through all the business dealings and all the tax returns, everything that Trump and every member of his family have ever done. And she's going to find something to throw them in jail after he gets out of office, because she can't do that while he's sitting and all. And it can't be, because it's state, it's not federal. It can be done. But she says she's going to look for anything that any of them have done. And then she'll go after the people who were faithful to him, who supported him, who worked for him. In an effort, this is to put fear in all of us. Anybody who supports Trump, who works for Trump, his family, to stay away from him, to stab him in the back, they do. If you tell us, we'll put you in jail unless you tell us, give us dirt. That's what they do to win a criminal case. If you give us dirt on Trump, we won't put you in jail. And that's how the family or anybody who's worked for him will get out of it. But they're going to haul everyone in and say, look, we found this or that, which is, I'm sure, going to be nothing. And Hillary Clinton is still not in jail for any length of time, but Felicity Huffman is going to jail for 2 weeks, and she's fined $30,000. And what she did compared to Hillary, and let me say the rest of them, especially those people that we have, the Senate and the Congress, all those people that we learned that there's a fund that we pay for that's given out north of $18 million. We found this out 3 or 4 years ago. To sex abuse cases, to when they have assaulted or molested or something, one of their interns, and they pay them under the table, and then the intern will sign it and say, no, I'm not going to. I will go to jail if I bring this to court, right? If I let the cat out of the bag. So we have people in office right now who've done things, Me Too movement, where are you? Who've done rapes, sexual assaults. Told you about Ted Kennedy and all his shenanigans when he was alive. So we've got real criminals that are making up our laws, that people are supporting with their money, that are taking our money, that are paying out all these sex abuse cases, right? Yet you are going to find an and, a but, and an or, basically, in anything Trump's business or his taxes and his family and anyone who's worked for him, to put fear in all of us so we won't support him, and then we will, I'm going to think about a piece of dirt, or make up a piece of dirt and then go on the stand and say, yes, I blah, blah, blah. Oath. Take the oath and say that you're going to tell the truth, and then lie. For an and, a but, and an or. Basically, that kind of charge. Yet we have people who want to destroy him. All those people. You don't know who it is. You don't even know if it's a man. It could be some of the women there, right? So here's another lawsuit. Apparently, a federal appeals court in New York has reinstated a lawsuit that claims Donald Trump has unconstitutionally profited from his businesses accepting payments from foreign and domestic governments while he serves as president, violating the Foreign and Domestic Emoluments Clause of the Constitution. The case that was previously dismissed for lack of standing. Now, the claim is the complainants are Jill Phaneuf and Eric Good. Apparently, they claim, restaurant owners in New York City are claiming that foreign diplomats are going to Trump's hotels and patronizing them, eating at those restaurants, staying at those hotels to get in good with Trump. Now, if you know anything about Trump and his establishments, everything is the best of the best. He makes sure that everything is the cleanest and the best that you will find anywhere. There's no way, you hear all these stories about cooks that don't wash their hands when they go to the bathroom. And if you go to a restaurant and you have to turn the knob to go into the bathroom, don't eat at that restaurant. It has to be that you can push it open and closed with your arm. That's because if you touch the knob and somebody doesn't wash their hands, then you go in and you cook the food. That's a little tip I heard from somebody who investigates restaurants. But he makes sure that everything is sanitary. You can't get better than a Trump establishment. So I would think, knowing that as a foreign diplomat, or knowing that as a human being who wants clean things, my food on time, and my food that I pay a lot of money for to taste really good. Instead of paying a lot of money for it, it tastes awful, or it's not up to snuff, or you have no idea if the cook washed their hands, right? At a Trump establishment that that's the case. You have no worries. So, because he still owns stakes in these restaurants, they say that the appeals court has allowed it. Of course, the appeals court will probably have judges appointed by Obama, or a neocon, or a never Trump, or something like that. Restaurants and hotels are saying to themselves, we're losing business. People who are going to Trump's restaurants and hotels, we're losing business. Okay, because you're losing business, how do you know that you're losing business because of Trump? Because anybody who goes to Trump's establishments, how do you know that it's not your fault? That your food isn't good? Your waitress was surly. The bathroom wasn't clean. A lot of these places, a lot of nice restaurants, and then the bathroom looks like hell. I mean, seen a lot of them. Really good food, good restaurant, bathroom, filthy, dirty, and everything is just really old and falling apart. How do you know it's not your fault? How do you know just because because he's making money while being president? Well, no one has ever, since Trump has come into office, been charged or brought to court on an Emoluments Clause, foreign or domestic. And many people have broken that over the years, but nobody's ever used it. But you're using it for Trump because you must take him down. So this is another thing. They're trying to get him on everything. In a sense, they're getting him on, you have a really good hotel, really good resorts, the best of the best, and the best of the best food. And we're going to punish you for it because my blank hole of a restaurant isn't getting as much money as yours. Everybody's going there. These diplomats that are coming in that have all this money to spend, we want the money. How do you know? How do you gauge that? You just want to take him down. That's all you want to do. He is trying to be the best of the best president, too, and bring dignity back to the White House, where a lot of stuff went on in the Obama White House, too. He had parties every night. He spent America's money, our taxpayer money, every night on parties and invited, personalities and people from Hollywood and the music industry. And they drank lots of alcohol. Trump doesn't drink any alcohol or take drugs. That's all he did every single night he partied. He went into work at 10:30 in the morning. Then he would go to lunch and then go play basketball. And then he left early to play golf. He wasn't in the White House doing work for very much of the day, and we're paying for him. But then again, it would have been better if he hadn't done anything for 8 years. This country would be in a better place. He's brought dignity and the love of America back to. That's what the White House is supposed to be. When you walk in there, you admire this country. And this country has fought for freedoms like, yes, nearly 600,000 people died. We fought a war against itself. America fought a war against itself to stop slavery. And about 600,000 people died. Well, there are 6 million slaves in Africa owned by other Black Africans that nobody's talking about. And if you go to the website, walkfree.org, it was about 43 million, last I checked, slaves that we know of in this world. And it's only the Western world that made slavery illegal and punishable by death. And we only had it for 250 years because the Democrats of the South would not allow it to be illegal. That's why we had to go to war, because of the Democrats. Okay? So to say that there's nothing to admire about America, we ended slavery. The Western world ended slavery. And it still exists in the rest of the world. The Democrats, the Southern Democrats, traded guns for 500,000 African slaves that were sold to them by Black Africans, sold out their own people. And South America, which are the best people ever because we have to take them all in, took 9,500,000 African slaves. And America, we're supposed to admire South America. They are the greatest people ever. Yet America is the worst ever. And the white people, the Western world, is the one that ended slavery. In the world, it still exists. In non-Christian, non-white countries. We know of 43 million. There's probably a lot more. And South America took 9,500,000. Yet we're bad, America's bad, because it's predominantly white. But we only got 500. The Democrats took 500,000. Not we, the Democrats took 500,000. How stupid, how ignorant. How can you turn your head from the truth of history? How can you turn your head from the truth when William Wilberforce, a white man, was the one that wrote Amazing Grace and ended slavery in England. And we wanted to end it 20 years after our country was made into a nation. We said slavery is wrong. It must end. And we'll give you, the Democrat states, the southern states, you Democrats will give you 20 years to end it. When 20 years was up, they didn't want to end it. So we had to fight a war against itself. And 600,000 people died. And compared to but somehow South America is better because they're not white. But I thought the Spanish, who were considered white, were the ones that came over and took over Mexico and South America. They're the ones who did it, the Spanish. But now they're not white anymore. I don't understand this. I don't understand this. And Southern Europe, that you consider white, but Southern Europe, 2 million slaves were taken by the Barbary pirates, the Muslims, the Arabs killed 200 million African slaves. 200 million were killed. Much more were taken. But they're not considered white, so somehow it doesn't matter how many they killed and how many they took. No stain on their hands, because now you don't consider them. They used to be considered Caucasian. The Mexicans used to be, by law, American law, they were considered white. But now they're not, because it's better not to be white. I don't understand this. Please, someone, explain it to me.
How they rule